Okay, part two, Pirate Wizard Dragon. Pretty much, this is my experience. What I've been going through the last month of dealing with this shop in Boulder called the Blue Rose Tattoo Shop, and them trying to train me to be a professional tattoo artist through the Blue Rose Tattoo School. There's two artists there. One named AJ, one named Christian. Christian been tattooing 10 years. AJ's been tattooing 6. I brought in some of my art that I've been working on, you know, my dragons that I've drawn, stuff like that. Anyways, I'll just give you a couple examples of some stuff that happened. I brought in, I showed AJ one of the artists that I look up to, because I have more than one teacher. I don't just go to these guys. I'm not going to just like say, okay, these two guys are the be-all and end-all of what I'm going to learn about how to do tattoos. I get tattooed myself by two very, very experienced tattoo artists that have been tattooing over 20 years out of Auspicious Tattoo in Boulder, Colorado. They're amazing. Rachel redid the tattoo on my forehead. She's working on me currently. Reed took on the overwhelmingly huge project of fixing my back piece because a local professional fucking artist screwed it up here in Longmont, whom I will not mention. These guys are amazing. These guys tattoo, they treat it like I was speaking in the last video, like a religion. Like, they love it. And I have a high respect for them because they know what they're doing. They are a little bit like, you know, down on me sometimes because they probably consider me a scratcher. I don't really care. They know there's scratchers out there. They encourage me, though, to just work on traditional stuff, just like a lot of guys do. You know, Reed has done that. But they're good people. I trust them with my body. So, you know, these guys I listen to also. I also look up to people on Facebook. I have friends from pages I belong to. One in particular, Bisquete Bewley, I believe is his name. He's out of Florida. Amazing fucking artist, man. I cannot tell you how high, you know, amount of realism he's able to pull off in his tattoos. He's very detailed and he does amazing work. I just found him recently and I've been communicating with him. His stuff, I hope to be half as good as he is in my lifetime by the time in 10 years. So I took this stuff into AJ at the shop. This guy that, you know, I look up to, because I've been showing him how he does his stencils and stuff, and this guy just shit all over this guy, this Bisquete. He just said that this guy's stuff was crap, that he could do better, that he, you know, researched Colorado before he moved here 4 or 5 months ago, and he's going to be the #1 artist here in a couple years in Denver. There ain't nobody here except for one dude, and one black and gray dude, and all of Colorado. That's all that great. So this guy's got some crazy standards anyways, and he talks some mad shit for somebody that, you know, his portfolio is good, but not like... A lot of tattoo artists think their stuff's incredible, and some of it is and some of it isn't, but there's less incredible than they think when they like talk about their portfolio. My portfolio sucks. It's weak as fucking day-old tea. Like, I'm trying to get it better. I've only been tattooing a couple years. It's not like I even trust myself to do some huge sleeve work and stuff yet. Like, if it was planned out well enough, yes, I probably would, but I'm not trying. I'm no ink master. I never said I was. I'm no, like, Kat Von D. I'm no, you know, Chris Garver or Ami James or any of those guys. I'm just some dude that likes tattoos and has tried to learn it and has been doing it for about 3 years. I'd say 2 years now. Even subtract a year. Shit. For a couple years, I've been trying to get into this and do a good job with it, and I'm proud of my tattoos. The tattoos in my portfolio, I believe, are not bad. You can see them on my Facebook page. I'll put a link. So I don't shit on other people's work, you know. I encourage people. I have friends that tattoo probably more than me and that know less than me, that are way younger than me. I know this one guy, son of a son kind of thing. I don't know. Back to the Jester. So that was AJ. He showed me what he thought about it. And I saw him do one little tattoo. He did a good job. But I don't think he's as good as that guy that I've talked to on Facebook, Bisquete. This guy pulled off some stuff, man. He had a gold bar of pearls and this sterling coin from the 17th, 16th century. It was like pirate booty on an arm. I think it was on an arm, and it was amazing. I mean, look at this guy. I looked at this guy's portfolio. You know, I got like one album with like, I don't know, a bunch of my art and then mixed in with tattoos, like a total of like 25 tattoos. I could update it, probably push it up to 30 tattoos that I've done in the last 2 years. You know, some of those tattoos are big and I've worked on them many times, like the griffin, the ribcage tribal griffin I've done. That shit's looking fucking awesome. The guy that's let me do it, I started working on my first year getting back into tattooing after taking a break. And it looks good. I'm happy with it. He loves it. Most of the people that got tattoos from me, they pick their own designs, they bring it to me, and I do what they want. I haven't got to the point where I'm like designing my own custom flash yet. I'm just drawing stuff, and I draw up my own art. I paint. I don't like the traditional road of tattooing. What everybody always says the same thing. Go trace some Sailor Jerry shit from, 30, 40 years ago, and trace it and trace it and trace it, and then watercolor it. Well, if that's what you did, or if that's what you wanted to, great. I just want to tattoo cool shit that people want to put on their body. I'm not against traditional shit, but I don't think it's the be-all and end-all of, like, art in the tattoo world. I think it's actually more for people that are old school. I see a more old school tattoo artists. Even the shop I go to, they push it hard. Just because it is perfect for tattooing, but it doesn't, all tattoos don't have to be traditional. They don't, and if they're not traditional, that doesn't make them any less valid. This is the thing, the mantra I've had to put through my mind in the last couple weeks as going to this place. Art is subjective. Who made you a fucking god where you get to decide what is good and what is bad in art? Because basically you're putting yourself up as your opinion is better. And yeah, there is shit and there is roses. I understand there's a difference between a pile of shit and a fucking bouquet of roses, but at the same time, if people bring me something and that's exactly what they want, and even if it's not tattoo worthy, fuck it, I'll try to put it on them. I'll do what they want. I've seen too many shops try to change people's ideas just because they don't want to. Most of the time I think it's because they're lazy. So yeah, this Christian guy, he kind of shit all over my art. Yet I've only seen him sit down and draw for like 5 minutes at a time before he gets frustrated and walks away. So it's all proof in the pudding, The thing that this is the example I'll use for Christian at this shop that made me realize what type of cat he is. Well, amongst other things, a guy came in. He wanted 2 strings on his arm, very close together, like this far apart, not like literally that far apart, like distance of one of them big fat vanilla brown looking rubber bands that they use. And Christian told him it'd be $150. I just was like, whoa. And the kid's like, that's a little bit much. And he's like, he went on and on about how hard it is to set up. It's very technical. It's one of the hardest things to tattoo, blah, 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 blah. It isn't that hard. You put a rubber band around their arm, you trace it, you put on, there's simple ways of setting that up. He just didn't want to do it. He told me later he just didn't want to do it. Yet this is the guy that told me he'll tattoo harder and longer than anybody. It would have took longer to set up and break down than it would to do that tattoo, and he probably could have got $50 or $60 out of the kid. I'd have done it. I'd have done $50, $60, even if it took me 20, 30 minutes to set up, which it wouldn't have. So, and then these guys, they talk shit about all these small tattoos that come in because we're out of college. It's not your business to be judging people's tattoos. Like, you provide a product or service for people. They come in, they want this put on their body. You should be humble enough and thankful enough that they picked you to do it. This guy, last time I was there, pretty much the day that I decided I'm not going to listen to these guys anymore after the contradictions. They both contradict each other. They both have totally different methods of tattooing. No tattoo artist I've ever met tattoos the same. So I'm done even trying to learn from other tattoo artists. I'm going to develop my own fucking method from here on out. I don't care how you do it. I know how to put in solid work. I know how to put in lines. I'm beginning to learn how to shade better. After a while, that tattoo machine will be an extension of my hand, just like my pencil is when I sit down and draw. I don't need your fucking help. Sorry, I'm sure I can learn some secrets from people that are wiser and more experienced than me, and I'll have to figure out those secrets on my own at this point, because I'm done trying to make other tattoo artists approve of me, or, especially guys that aren't even that much better. They just have they've had more of an opportunity to tattoo in a shop than me. So, things like that. the Jester example, and I'll put this in Facebook on a separate little album. I have a neighbor that has a Jester. It was all messed up. It was light. Instead of having like little bells hanging from the Jester's hat, they look like nut sacks. I'm not kidding. It was bad. You'll see it. I took a picture of it, printed up the picture, took it to this guy Christian. I was like, hey man, what do you think? I originally was going to turn the hat into like a checkerboard thing. I was going to make the hat look all checkerboard, like a Harley Quinn, kind of thing. But he's like, oh, simple is more, because that's what these guys always say to everybody. Make it simpler so I don't have to work so fucking hard. Simpler is more. So I let him redraw it, and I have the picture. And then I took the picture, and I drew what he wanted me to tattoo. I didn't have enough time to shade it. I was shorted on time, and his skin was very tough. That's not an excuse. I still got it in there. I used this technique of lining. Instead of my way I like to line, which is a 7-round liner, I used a 5-round shader, because that's what he does. Didn't work so well for me. I'd rather use a 7-round liner. And I pretty much tattooed exactly what he drew on this thing. Exactly. I took the picture, his reference, and I put it next to me when I drew on him and then when I tattooed it. I went back to him, and I showed it to him, and I said, what do you think? He's like, man, it's just terrible. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? It's exactly. He's like, nah, don't look that much better than before. It looks like shit. And the last day I was there, I started realizing these guys, they're just so ego-based, unhumble motherfuckers that I don't even want to work here. Besides the uncleanliness, and the personal shit, which I don't know if I want to get into, but, I don't want to hear about people's past if it's full of fucking villainy. You got to tell me about your past to make you look so tough, of all the rotten shit you did to people that didn't have it coming, and how you rationalize it and say in your mind and express in your thought and your, horrible things you've done to people, and tell me you don't think you're calmer, I don't know. I just put you, there's some stuff there that, on a personal level, I don't want to be around the one particular guy. I just don't want to be around him. No desire to surround myself with people like that, nor work at a shop where those people are, because they're going to attract that kind of energy if that's what they're all about. Period. I've been around enough creepazoids to realize you start entertaining creepazoids, you better get used to it, because more are going to be coming. It's like zombies, Fuckers, they know how to find each other. So, the art stuff, you got to take pride in yourself as an artist, and you got to not listen to other artists. That's what I've learned. There's always going to be, it's like being a fighter or being a fucking painter or being anything. There's always going to be somebody worse. There's always going to be somebody better. There's people that have talent naturally. There's people that work for it. I got a little bit of both. I have natural talent, but I've worked for a lot of shit too, and I've worked to take my natural talent and develop it in other mediums, So, the art thing, I keep checking the time. I'm done with there. These guys have no help. They can't teach me anything technical. Cleanliness-wise, they're fucking pigs. The one guy slept in the shop, and then washed his genitals in the sink, he told me. I don't even want to put my hands in that sink anymore. He also is getting tattooed himself by a scratcher in Denver that works out of his house. Didn't even change his shirt, man. He slept on the shirt that he was tattooed in. I'm looking at his shirt. He's got a white t-shirt on. There's blood and plasma dried. I'm like, dude, what's wrong? He showed me his tattoo. He tattooed himself on himself. A picture of himself tattooing, this tattoo artist, which, I don't know. I've read in the past there was a lot of stories about. There's some superstition attributed to tattooing yourself on yourself, which I'll let you dig that stuff up, and him too, because he didn't know about it. But it's seeping through. 2 days he's been wearing this shirt, doesn't wash his shit. He's in the bathroom cleaning up before the shop opens, after sleeping there. Shit like that is like, man, I'm done. I wash my hands of this shit. I don't want my name ever associated with the shops. And these shops here, they're like Wendy's, man. You don't see the same cat working in there if you go back in a year. Tribal Rights, there's 3 Tribal Rights. There's one in Fort Collins, Boulder, and Longmont. Go in there, and then you go back in a year, different artists. Same thing with Freakies. There's a couple Freakies that have tattoo artists. The tattooing thing's so easy to open up, and boom, it's growing. It's just, tattoo shop opened up the street for me. It's gone now. It was there for a year. So who gives a shit about shops if there's 500 shops and 490 of them aren't going to be around in a year, and the ones that are truly good, nobody's heard of. Like, shop I go to, I tell people they don't even know about it. Because the guys I go to, they don't have to advertise. They don't have to promote themselves. They don't care if they're known. They don't care if people talk about them. They actually prefer that they don't. They barely take on any new clients because they don't need to work. So it's almost like an custom, home base kind of thing, like appointment only. That's where I'm headed. You want me to tattoo you? It's going to be appointment only. And, I'm still humble though. Like, the thing that broke it for me is this guy, the last day I was there, he has a cover up to do Saturday. They want him to design a tribal dragon black with a skull to cover up this thing on both their arms. They're both a girl and a guy biker. And the whole time he's bitched about having to do this. Man, it's an honor to tattoo a dragon where I come from and my belief structure. Don't ever shit on that opportunity. Any kind of dragon. I'll tattoo a dragon. I'll tell you this. Look at my work, and you have a simple dragon. You design me a dragon like grapefruit size or smaller. Just pay me for my materials, and I'll do the best fucking job I can for you. I love dragons so much. It's an honor to tattoo a dragon. When you shit on that, you've now offended my gods, and I gotta walk away from you. I gotta not stand next to you. I gotta not say I'm on your side. You're my ally in this struggle of ours to become better tattoo artists and be professional. So, I'm at 16 minutes. That's how I feel about this Blue Rose place. Between the cross-contamination issues, the fact that there's no shop gloves, there are other material things too I didn't mention, like there's no shop gloves, there's no shop manager, there's no exposure protection plan listed in place, which the health department requires. There's no on-site manager, so if something goes wrong, nobody can ask what to do. There's no maticide, there's no gloves. The shop doesn't provide those things. There's no like shop use stuff. The artists have to provide that own stuff, so cleaning isn't being done. The apprentices pay $500 to be an apprentice, and all they do is just, give people release forms and take messages. The one apprentice has been there over a year. He's tattooed one tattoo, he said, since he's been there, I think. Derek's his name. And that's a joke, man. I feel bad for the cat. I'm never going to be an apprentice under those terms. Fuck that. I'm going to be tattooing. And in a year from now, after I've done 20 or 30 more tattoos, I'll be better. Period. You get better at doing something by doing something. Not by talking about it or thinking about it or wondering about it or planning for it. You get better by doing it. It's very simple. It's a simple equation. Practice makes perfect. Applies to anything. And that's my rant on part 2 of the Denver Body Art School. I informed my state counselor, who is part of the reason I'm going here, with some of the stuff that went on and actually some of the language that was going on, and one of the artists there, and him expressing his desire to get back into a very lucrative line of work that is also highly illegal. And I said I can't be around this anymore. I don't even feel safe going there. These people are thugs with a license to tattoo. One of them, anyways. I don't care. That's cool. Thanks to MTV, or not even MTV at this point. That's old. Thanks to just fucking DMZ or whatever you want to call it. Any of these stupid media things that these young people watch and worship. It's the thing to do, Rob and Mob, hip hop, yo. I just can't be around it. That's not why I got into tattooing. I didn't get into tattooing because I watched any of the shows. They didn't have shows on. Miami Ink, all that stuff wasn't on in the 90s when I got into tattoos, when I started to have a love for tattoos. And I still have a love for tattoos, but man, I hate tattoos. For the most part, I really am starting to hate other tattoo artists. They suck. They're assholes. They think they're gods. They're so unhumble, and they're so ungrateful, and they're so just selfish, and fuck them, I want nothing to do with this industry, really. So that's the end of part 2. I will be doing another one. I'm going to probably do 4 or 5, so bear with me. Probably only 4.